Hi everybody, I'm here to kind of report on the news that a lot of people have been talking about in the past few hours. First of all, the reason I'm not using my video camera right now is despite the fact that I may have an extra set of ultimate lithium batteries for my camera, and the fact that my batteries have not shown the low battery sign yet on my camera. I'm not taking any chances, and I'm just doing it by audio right now because this is real quickie. But I'm here to report or talk about what everybody's been talking about in the past few hours, the so-called release of Daniel Bryan, aka Bryan Danielson, from World Wrestling Entertainment. Apparently the WWE confirmed on their website that Daniel Bryan has been released from his contract. However, Dave Mitzer, who's a world-renowned reporter for professional wrestling and mixed martial arts, has reported that this story, this release, this firing, if you will, is fake and it's part of the storyline. Now, this would be true, because if someone is fired in a storyline from a company, then what sense would it make for them to be part of that company under the name that the company gave them? In other words, if this is a fake firing as part of the Invasion storyline, it would give him enough reason to go back to being Bryan Danielson, and basically be somebody that says, hey, I'm a part of this new organization, we're here to take over, and we're here to show you what you need to do. And quite honestly, I think that's what this whole NXT deal is. I mean, think about it. It's not because the rookies want the spotlight or anything like that. I've always thought about this. I think the reason that the NXT Invasion happened, and what's part of the storyline angle, some of you may agree, may not agree with it, is I think what they're trying to do is have these NXT rookies say, hey, look, we're not just here to make an impact, we're here because we love pro wrestling, and we want to bring pro wrestling back to the WWE, because maybe in their minds the WWE has become a joke. Excuse me. But anyway, again, I'm here to talk about, I'm just here to talk about what everybody's been talking about in the past few hours. The release by WWE of Daniel Bryan, aka Bryan Danielson. James Caldwell at the Pro Wrestling Torch said this is all part of the storyline, and that, you know, like I said, the further proof it's part of the storyline, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, changed his Twitter account from Daniel Bryan to Bryan Danielson, and then put at the end of it, the winds of change are stirring. So apparently this sounds like it is part of the Invasion storyline, and again, it would make a lot of sense to fire and release the likes of Bryan Danielson and the NXT Season 1 graduates, and to further the invasion, if you will, and have one organization against the WWE. It would make a lot of sense for that to happen. Now apparently this NXT Invasion storyline continued on this past week as well. In case some of you don't know, you could check it here on YouTube. Somebody filmed it, I think, at a local FCW, at a Florida Championship Wrestling House event. Originally, the main event was supposed to be Christian and Heath Slater taking on Daniel Bryan and The Miz, but because of this whole storyline angle, instead what happened was The Miz and Christian ended up getting attacked by the NXT Season 1 graduates. And again, just like they did on Raw, they tore up the ringside area. And again, they got a reaction from the crowd that basically had the crowd boom out of the arena. So again, the invasion continued this past Wednesday at FCW. The only question now is where they're going to go with it. Well, again, one of the things James Caldwell pointed out is it would make sense to have all the rookies fired, so that way it would make sense for them to be part of this promotion, of being kind of create their own little promotion, own little brand and organization, and try to take down and take over the WWE. It would make sense. And again, I think it would also make sense because maybe some of these guys like Bryan Danielson want to get back storyline wise, possibly, and I'm not saying this is part of the storyline, but possibly get back the WWE to what it made the WWE what it is. And that's not just sports entertainment, but get it back to what fans want it to be, and that's pure wrestling, being about the sport of wrestling and not just about entertaining and all that. So that's just my guess on there. But that's just my guess on what they might lead with this. But again, getting back to what I was talking about at the beginning, Daniel Bryan apparently released, if you will, by WWE.com, but a lot of clues, a lot of hints have been thrown around. Twitter.com, his Twitter account has been changed to Bryan Danielson. He has said that the winds of change are now steering, so it makes you wonder and think that this is part of the storyline. And Dave Mitzer has admitted it's part of the storyline. And Dave Mitzer, as you know, has been a long-time columnist, as I said, and reporter for wrestling, and just recently in the past 17 years for MMA, as well as James Caldwell, who's the assistant Torch editor at PWI Torch, ProWrestlingTorch.com. So take that into consideration, some of those reports. And again, it would make sense because in that way, these NXT rookies could have their own little band, or make their own, kind of have their own little organization and everything, and take on the WWE. And I think it even furthers more about this being an invasion of like one promotion taking on, of this upcoming promotion of young guys taking on the WWE. When tonight, when I watched SmackDown, at the end of them showing once again what happened on Raw, Matt Striker said, "Hey, you want to take us on? If anybody wants to come on in and take us on, come on," or something like that. So it makes you think. It makes you think that this is all going to be sort of like NWO, but more like here's a bunch of these unknown young guys that want to basically say, "Hey, we're ready and capable enough to be on the same level as the WWE's main eventers or poster boys and girls, so give us that opportunity." And again, the question is who could be behind it. One of the things they talked about tonight, I watched a little bit of it on the Pro Wrestling Report from Max Sports on YouTube. Damian Nelson and Rashi Brown and David Hero all agree that it could possibly be Michael Cole, that's the leader. But after tonight, kind of like the guy that orchestrated everything and is the spokesperson. But after tonight, I think it could be somebody else. I watched SmackDown, and I've thought about this tonight, and I don't know if you agree on it. Some people are saying it could be Michael Cole. Some are saying it could be Chris Jericho. Others saying it could be just Vince McMahon's way, storyline-wise, of getting rid of Bret Hart and making him look like a failure as the general manager. But this is the way I look at it. I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe the leader and the spokesperson could be Drew McIntyre. Think about it. Here's Drew McIntyre, wants everything handed to him, says he's the chosen one, basically wants to be untouchable. Who better than possibly McIntyre to be like the vocal piece, the leader, if you will, of the NXT graduates, and who better, like I said, to possibly be in that position? Because think about it. Wade Barrett's got a shot possibly at the WWE title. Drew McIntyre's on SmackDown, possibly shot at the world title. Who better to be the leader of these guys for him and Wade than Drew here, and then have him and Wade both holding the top championships in the WWE, thus giving the NXT graduates of Season 1 total control. But those are just my thoughts on it. Tell me what you think, and I'll talk to you all later.